Hello, author Daniel Coolbaugh here. I also run the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Fanatics podcast. I wanted to talk today about the overall series of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files. Particularly, I'm going to be focusing on Book 3, Grave Peril. If you have not checked out the other reviews that I've done, one over the overall series, two, the first book, Stormfront, third video is going to be on Full Moon. This is going to be my fourth video. I hope I counted that right. I teach social studies. And this one's going to be on Grave Peril, like I said. So, I'm going to get right into it. I read Stormfront, loved it, loved Full Moon even more, and then Grave Peril is really where I was like, holy crap, this is an amazing series, and not just a couple sets of books, or a couple of books in this series. So for me, I had read Full Moon, and I'm so glad I bought Grave Peril at our local used bookstore, Autumn Leaves. Thank you. And I'm so glad I did because I had read it Full Moon mostly over a weekend, and then I had 80 pages left. Sorry, several chapters, and I was so mad I had to go to sleep. But I had work the next day, and I was coaching at the time, coaching soccer. So I woke up, went to work, and was thinking I could fit, some of this in here and there. I could not fit it in. There was absolutely no way. So I ended up just taking a roundabout way. And later that night, I finished the 80 pages. And then I immediately picked up Grave Peril, got 50, 60 pages into that. And then just kept going throughout that week, finished Grave Peril. So Grave Peril is the Dresden Files, Book 3, and the blurb is, Harry Dresden's faced some pretty terrifying foes during his career. Giant scorpions, oversexed vampires, psychotic werewolves. It comes with the territory when you're the only professional wizard in the Chicago area phone book. But in all Harry's years of supernatural sleuthing, he's never faced anything like this. The spirit world's gone postal. All over Chicago, ghosts are causing trouble, and not just of the door-slamming, boo-shouting variety. These ghosts are tormented, violent, and deadly. Someone or something is purposely stirring them up to wreak unearthly havoc. But why, and why do so many of the victims have ties to Harry? If Harry doesn't figure it out soon, he could wind up a ghost himself. Man, did I love this book. There are people that we meet in this book, secondary characters. I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't read it. There are secondary characters that we meet in this book that help Harry to solve this case and to help his friends and to help save all of Chicago. And for me, it was really, really cool because, again, it does what I said in Full Moon review, where it expands our world, and it expands the different types of classes or magic users or different people that we're going to see in the world building process. And I watched a video a while back, and I think the person made a great sense. They said, why do they love the Dresden Files so much? And they felt that Stormfront, you drop a pebble in, right, in a large body of water, and then you see that ripple start to form. And then, book 2, Full Moon, really goes out from there. And then book 3, really, it just keeps expanding until we get into Summer Night, and then it's like somebody drops a freaking boulder in there. But I think personally, it just keeps going off of that first ripple. And I think that's a hard thing to do for a lot of authors, myself included. And it's what readers, I think, really want, right? And there's some books in certain series where you're kind of up and down, right? But I think what makes a great series like the Dresden Files, or like Patricia Briggs's Alpha and Omega, or Mercy Thompson, or Kevin Hearn's I Druid Chronicles, I think what makes a great series is when you're constantly expanding like that, right? Particularly within urban fantasy, when we're meeting new groups of people, we're seeing new classes of characters, we're getting new relationships. But everything included in the story is helping to deepen our understanding of the world building, the magic system, whatever your main theme is, and just keeps going and keeps each book in the series to keep building on that. That's one of the things I absolutely loved about Iron Druid Chronicles or this series or Briggs, is that you really feel that. And I'm reading MD Massey's Graveyard Druid, book 2 in his Colin McCool series, and man, does he do the same thing. And that's something I strive to do as an author. And I'm really trying to do and get right in my prequel novellas, my prequel novels, and, the overall series. That's something that I'm really taking to heart. When I give you book 1, how am I then, really going to expand this? And I think that's what Empire Strikes Back did so well as a movie, was it expanded our world building and understanding and relationships at a really even level. Sometimes I think people try and do too much world building with book 2 and not enough building of the relationships or the magic system, or the story. They forget there's a story there. sometimes. And I think that's like the sequel curse for a lot of things, right? Or the sequel season, is like they forget why we loved the first book or first movie or first season to begin with. I don't feel that's the case here. I feel like once we get to book three, you're in it to win it. And you know where you're at. And I feel like the things that Jim, trying to think of not to spoil, the things that Jim adds in this are also really interesting because we're going to come back to some of these themes and issues later on, and that's what I love about Jim later in the series is he uses stuff from book 1, 2, and 3 later on. A lot of authors kind of forget and just keep creating. He creates and crafts a story, but he does not forget where he comes from, nor does he forget where Harry comes from. And Great Peril, I think, when I look back in particular, I really liked because you can really start to feel the momentum building, I think, for the overall conflicts within the series. And you can look back with fondness and say, oh, damn, like, yeah, like because Harry did these things, this is what's going to happen later. And it's interesting reading later on in the series and seeing really, I think, like these, like the first few books in particular up to Summer Night, because you're going to see them a lot differently. And then the way that you read them for the first time or the way you ingested them. So it is interesting. This was fun. I think ghosts are a fun trope to use in urban fantasy. I just used the trope with like wraiths and stuff within my short story, No Rest for the Wicked, which is in our Arcane Awakenings anthology on Kickstarter. And it was interesting. And I think when I'm looking back and I'm talking about this series and this book with people behind the camera, like I'm really looking back to this book, The Ghost Story by Jim Butcher, which I really love. And I'm looking at these, I'm like, oh, like Great Peril is really the reason that I wanted to use that type of trope within my short story. And yeah, it's just, I think it was interesting. And then I look back and it's like, oh, I used werewolves or something similar in terms of mythology in my series because of Full Moon. So I'm seeing a lot of influences for myself for Jim Butcher, particularly the Dresden Files. So I don't know. I really think the first three books are really, really good. Summer Night happens to be one of my favorite books of all time. That one just was, and when I listened to the Audible for like my reread, I was thinking I was not going to like it as much, or I was thinking that, I wasn't going to like the first three as much. And that really wasn't the case. Like, I loved the first three books even more. And I was very happy and blessed that I loved my re-listen, reread, whatever I call it, to Summer Night even more. And I really feel that the series starts to hit its stride with book three in particular. Like, I think it starts with book two. Book two feels great. And then I really think it starts to hit its stride with book three. Book 3 and 4 did not take very long. Like within a week of having school, two other jobs, like I was teaching, I was in a master's, I had like was coaching, and then I was like tutoring on the side. I finished both of these books within like 6.5 days. So really, really loved Grave Peril. I think you guys should check it out, particularly, if the blurb speaks to you. If you have read this book or read Full Moon or Stormfront or the overall series, please comment down below and let me know what you think. I love hearing people's comments. I love that people are commenting on this series and these videos already. Please check out my overall series video as well. I'll be doing some more talks on the rest of these books on the overall series, particularly once I'm done reading the overall series. So I hope you guys, check it out. Check out Jim Butcher's work. Please check out my own work at www.authordanielcoolbaugh.com. You can find my anthologies I'm a part of. You can find my prequel, The Hunted. Check that out. I'm trying to fix that up here in the next couple of weeks to get the betas. I'm being really patient with that because it's going to kick off my urban fantasy world, and not just my series, Nathaniel Wither, my Monster Hunter series, but the overall world. So I'm really trying to nail that and get it right and make it something that, both Jim and Harry would be proud of. So hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And as always, happy reading, my friends. See you guys later.